Harry makes a complete volte-face in final memoir chapter, Meghan shocked to the core reading Manuscript. Meghan Markle may learn more about Prince Harry than she expects to in his upcoming memoir, according to one source who says the prince has gone deeper than expected. The world is waiting with bated breath to see what Prince Harry will reveal in his upcoming memoir, and according to one royal expert, his wife Meghan Markle could be most shocked of all. Harry's long-awaited autobiography is tentatively scheduled for this Christmas, and much of the writing process has been deeply intimate. Well, I believe that H is going to put the most exaggerated scenarios in that book. A slight tap could turn into a huge slap as far as his book is concerned. I'm sure there would be numerous other allegations in that book. People who don't have an opinion about the two will believe anything that comes out of that book, not because they're gullible but because they just don't care enough to question their credibility. This same tactics worked after the Oprah interview, and it just might work with this book. Unlike Meghan's prediction, the memoir has been approved and contains the truths that Meghan has buried. There is sure to be a big storm that will threaten their marriage when the book is released. This will confirm Harry's true orientation after his psychological change when returning from the Jubilee. Announcing the memoir, which is being published by Penguin Random House, the Duke of Sussex said he was excited for people to read a first-hand account of my life that's accurate and wholly truthful. And one source close to the couple told celeb diarist Heat World that one person who might learn more than she thought she would is Harry's own wife Meghan. The source said that Prince Harry had given his ghostwriter access to never-before-seen documents which paint a different picture of him to the one in the public eye. They said, this narrative that Meghan essentially stood over Harry as he wrote the book is way off the mark. He and ghostwriter Junior Moiringer spent months going through his private photo album, journals, emails and so forth. It naturally brought up some extremely raw feelings and surprise anecdotes, many of which came as a huge shock to Meghan when she read through the manuscript. However, they did add that as Meghan was attracted to Harry's bad boy image, she likely will love him even more. They continued, Meghan knows Harry had a very lively past. She wouldn't have found him nearly as appealing if he hadn't lived life to the full and got everything out of his system before they settled down and committed to a long-term future. Speaking on an upcoming episode of the Mirror's Pod Save the Queen podcast, Ken Worf, a former police protection officer who worked with Harry and William when they were boys, said he didn't believe Harry would see out his days in California. He revealed that he thought Harry could return to his homeland for a new role, possibly without Meghan. I've been vocal about my belief that he's unhappy with Meghan, misses the UK and his family, and he wants to go home. I believe he's quietly made this clear to a handful of people within his family. At the time, I assumed there would start to be leaks about the above by the end of the year. However, the leaks are already starting. With that said, he's not going to get out of all this unless he can convince his family to trust him again. If he can do that, they'll move the necessary mountains to facilitate the break with Meghan, obtain a favorable custody agreement, and get him home. I still feel all of this is going to happen within the next 2 to 3 years. When asked if the pair would ever come back to the UK, Worf, who has written a new book called Diana, Remembering the Princess, said, personally I do, and I base that on gut reaction really. I just cannot see them forevermore living in California. It's clear to me that Harry is not quite a fish out of sea. I mean, he is getting involved in charitable work and he has these attachments to Netflix and other companies, but quite where they'll end up we don't know. But I just think his involvement with his military charities, quite how he runs that on the other side of the Atlantic, I don't know. But I just have this feeling that he could well be back in a new role. Without Meghan, I honestly don't know. I do think he will be back in some form as part of his father's plan for trimming down the monarchy, because within the next decade that is going to happen.